Yo, what's up guys? Welcome to this channel. My name is Chris. I'm a creative entrepreneur, and my whole goal with this channel is to create content to help you become an entrepreneur, or if you're already an entrepreneur, give you the systems and processes that I've built as a full-time creative over the last 7 years, and sharing knowledge, wisdom, tips and tricks, and anything else that I think is helpful, because essentially I didn't have somebody like this coaching me or teaching me or leaning on. So I want to put out all this information just to help you guys, like whether you take all the tips or just here and there. That's my goal, is just to help you be the best version of yourself. So let's get started. And today's topic is really important because I had to do it today. And the topic is going to be listening to your body, not your mind. And this is quite funny too. I'll give you the full story here. So yesterday, or the story will actually help you understand this whole thing too. So yesterday, had a successful day, like knocked out a big part of a weekender video and got some client stuff done. Ended up not having to work out yesterday, so I did sauna and cold plunge, hit the grocery store, cooked dinner, and was like, dude, we kicked yesterday's butt, went to bed pretty early, and then set my alarm to get up at 8 a.m. today, and I woke up at 5 a.m. just wide awake, but it wasn't like a good wide awake. Like I was wide awake and my body was just like, no. And I'm like, why am I awake then? So then I essentially stayed in bed for an hour and then got up. And after I got up, I still felt off, like unmotivated. My body was kind of achy and didn't feel right. And I was like, whatever. So came over to the couch, didn't even drink my coffee this morning because it just didn't feel right. And then when I was sitting here waking up as part of my routine, I got hot and essentially just my stomach felt very nauseated. And I was like, what is going on? So then, and I was wanting to start my day. I wanted to film this video. Then I was wanting to get my day rolling because I had momentum from yesterday. And then I literally had that ultimatum where I was like, my body is telling me no right now. And my mind was like, let's go, let's hit the patterns. But my body was literally like, And my body actually at some point when I was kind of like getting motivated to get started, I was just like, no, we need to take a break. So then I was like, we'll see how we feel at noon. And I'm glad I did that, because in listening to my body and pushing back my day, I think I saved myself time that I would have been essentially creating a container for burnout. And it was very strange. But for instance, like in pushing back the day till noon, I allowed myself just to like rest, relax, and see if I had the motivation to complete the day. Because I think a big saying, and this is like a big tip I was thinking about before I filmed this video, was like, you need to listen to your body and rest when it says rest, because you're only going to have to rest, I guess, for like half the time, where it's you push through and don't rest when your body's telling you to rest, and you listen to your mind and it's like, knock shit out. And then you go on, like you're going to have to rest twice as much. So if you rest when you're supposed to, you only have to rest for the time needed. But if you push and grind through it and stack up more and catch that momentum, then you're going to have to rest twice as long. And I think that's what I just came out of, was resting twice as long from not listening to my body this past year with all the craziness and travel and stuff that happened. And then I finally, I say yesterday, felt like pretty recovered from burnout, and it was like, woke up today and my body's like, no. And the old me would have been like, screw that, let's go. We're going to finish this stuff. We're going to grind. We're going to push through. That's what entrepreneurs do. And then, like I said today, it was like, no, listen to my body. And my body's like, nope. And then around noon, I think it was just slightly after noon, like I started to feel a little motivation come in. And even in having that motivation come in, my day that was going to be a list and knock stuff out from like essentially 10 to 5-ish turned into like, let's knock out the 2 things. And if you guys haven't seen that video, I talk about, building your schedule and always have 2 things. And that's what I've really focused on today, is those 2 things. I'm just like, number 1, film a YouTube video. Number 2, upload a YouTube video too. But then number 2, work on something for Weekender Collective. And that's it. And keeping it that simple. And there's actually been some really good stuff that's came out of this too, if you think about it. And this is where I always look for silver linings, but I also look at stuff and I'm like, I have a different perspective on a lot of stuff. But I was looking at the silver lining of today and I was like, I listened to my body, good job. Give yourself a pat on the back. And I think that's important to, especially if you're breaking old patterns or different conditionings or, subconscious patterning. It's really important when you break that pattern to identify it and give yourself a pat on the back. And even and that's what I even love about these talk to camera videos, is like I get to teach it. And if you're able to teach it, you've learned it and you've embodied it, because if you're able to share it, you have a higher understanding of it. And I feel like I've learned this lesson. And that's what I want to share with you guys. It's just like, listen to your body. your body knows everything. Your mind doesn't. Your mind has an agenda. Your body has feelings. I think that's a good way to put it too, because like, for instance, in this whole video as a whole, it was like, my mind was like, we got stuff to do. We got to crush this. We got to knock this out. Da, 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 da. And my body's over here like, I'm exhausted. I don't feel good. Something's off. We don't know what it is, but we need rest. And yeah, I don't think until this year and creating this channel and stuff that I started listening to my body, and I was like, oh yeah, no, yeah, it's got some valid points, because I think the brain always has an agenda and it always wants to get stuff done, and that's our ego. That's like, no, we know what happens if we do this, but we don't know what happens if we rest today. And I had to fight through a little bit of that egoic mind being like, go get it, you got this. And I was like, no, we don't got this. Like, let's take a break. And I think that might even be like a newer wave of content too, is like getting out of this hustle culture and just simply living and doing something that is sustainable. Oh, and that's the other part of this too, is like sustainability. Like in creating this 75-day YouTube challenge or partaking in it, like something that I questioned was like, will I be able to do this on my worst day possible? And I'd say today was like up there with one of the, worst days. And and able to film and upload a video to YouTube, I think that's kick ass. And I was like, yes, this is sustainable. And I took that as another silver lining of like, yes. Because I think good things good things happen too when we take time to rest when we need to, instead of pushing the envelope and following our minds and still grinding when we need to rest. And yeah, I'd say that's just overall like what I would pass on to any other entrepreneur or somebody aspiring to be an entrepreneur. I know like when you're building and you're branding or you're learning and you're getting in this stuff, like money can be tight and whatnot, but like take the time, listen to your body over your mind, take the time to rest if you need it, because like I said, in that kind of like rest equation, if you rest when you need it, you get to like put your rest time at the absolute minimum. And if you grind and push through and keep grinding and keep going, and then you're going to reach burnout, you're going to have to rest twice as long when you should just listen to yourself in the moment. Take that little pause and rest up so that you can show up the next day with the best amount of energy possible. It's a good finish. Peace out, guys. Have a good day.